Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. We're going to be doing more of our Posthomerica art once again. We're at the stage now where we want to we have rough designs for our book cover and for our audiobook cover. And so we don't want to finish those yet because we don't necessarily have the artwork done yet that will go in the covers. We want to do kind of like a final pass on the art for every chapter. Some of them we don't really need to do a lot of work on. Some of them I've spoken to people and gotten feedback and might want to change a couple things. I don't really know how difficult it'll be to change for some of these, just based on like we kind of burned in a lot of the changes with the post-processing pass, but we can sort of explore what we can do. So one that I want to do is book 4, and that's nice because we already have it downloaded. So let's go back into the funeral games, which I'm very happy with just in general, but I think there's a very small thing that I'd like to add, which is, let's see if we can do it. So, what do we got here? This is the characters. I would like to add some small musculature details in there, which are going to be very, very faint. So the color is actually, whoa. The color is going to be like this, but the actual texture is not. So let's just put a couple of strokes down, and then we will just approximate what it's going to be, because it'll be too distracting to have it be like this. So it's going to look closer to something like that. And now I'm not sure if this is really going to like help or hurt type thing. We'll have to see. I'm also going to look up some refs for musculature. Alright, so let's take this and this. And this. Okay. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to like this. But there's just some really interesting shapes that I see in these Greek pieces here that are sort of like not necessarily always anatomical, but they're very evocative looking. Yeah, if it was something like that, where it's like really almost invisible, that's closer to what it is in the real artwork. But we're going to have to put a different texture on it once we actually do it, because that doesn't really look good compared to the other stuff. You can tell it's not textured. But yeah, let's run with this. So all right. And this is some kind of like material that I don't really... Oh wait, I don't need this anymore. Okay. Yeah, it's some kind of material that I don't really understand that they used on the pottery, that like it basically just kind of like dissolved in time or something. Like it just doesn't appear anymore. And we want to try and get that in there where it's like so faint that you can't really even tell that it was there. Really fascinating aspect to me, like a lot of pieces of antiquity like this, well, not like this, but that we're basing our artwork on, they have just lost aspects, like a lot of statues and stuff that we think of as being white marble were actually colored with paints. And we don't really have any way of distinguishing, or like we totally just took that out of our social consciousness of what those pictures look like, because we never imagine them being painted. We always think of them as being white. All right, what else we got here? Some of these I can't really see the original layers on. Okay. As much as I like the idea of incorporating that element, I don't think it works. One other thing I want to do, though, is, let's see here. How even can I do this? Okay, so if I used this as a mat, layer, what if I just did this? Oh yeah, it works. So I want to see about if we added kind of an accent color. And it doesn't really matter what the color is because we can change it. But we'll see if we like the general idea. You can see that our accent color is retaining all of the weathering of the base layer, but it's overwriting the weathering of, like the texture. It's just a flat color other than the base layer's weathering. So we're going to need to change it a little bit, but let's see what happens. So one thing that we didn't do that I should have done is, and this is still intact, so let's do it now, is that we forgot to duplicate it, which is a very bad habit, so I should not let that persist. Let's make that book version 8. Or we'll just name this for convenience. And we're going to just delete that layer that we added on this one so that this is now what it used to be. Oops, oh, we opened the old one. All right. A lot of times horses will get a accent color. Maybe we'll make Menelaus's cart a different color. And maybe we'll try this idea again of the Kylix being an accent color. That was in our original picture and we took it out. Okay, I guess if we're doing 2 of the horses, we should do all 3 of them. And the only thing about this is that it's going to really draw the eye away from the rest of the people. No. I don't think that works. It creates a weird imbalance of colors. So we're going to skip that one. One thing I want to do is change this line weight. Let's do this. So we're attempting ideas. Not everything's going to work, but it's important to try. Oh wait, no, this would not. This would be the eraser tool. Yeah, because we're actually erasing into the background to make the outline. And we're drawing to make everything that's not the outline. Good. Okay, so we went through a couple ideas, ended up close to where we started, but I fixed a few of the technical issues with the art that we had. Good. Some of these, it's like we're getting close to the deadline, so we just have to pick our battles, which is a thing about shipping any project, is like you're always going to be unhappy with something about the final, and you're really just, you can't perfect everything. So let's put this in the old folder. AIAS is book 5. There's a few things for AIAS chapter that I want to try. I might want to redo the background, or at least change the intensity of it, which we probably have in layers, maybe. See, this works better than this. This one I went a little bit overboard on. So let's go in. It might be as simple as, and I don't really like to do this, I don't think I'm going to keep this, but let's just see what it looks like. As simple as adding like a wash over the top. And maybe making it like a different color. I don't hate that, actually. What I really should have done, though, was, oh wait, I still have it, okay. Oh, look at that, we created some kind of levels for this picture. I don't think we've done that on any of our other pictures. Let's change these levels. I'm just gonna change the wetness. I kind of like this very quick and dirty fix that we did. Let's look at it from a far away. We have that versus that. Yeah, I actually kind of think this works pretty well. Taking its time to open, but okay. Does it say the file size when we look at this? No. Oh, that's cool. It shows you the zoom percentage. Wow, so this is a huge file. 100% zoom is like this. Wow. Yeah, we're working at 300 dpi, which is probably why the iPad has a hard time processing it. So it was called to my attention that the tree creates sort of let's also make this translucent so that we're not always doing 100% removal of something, but sometimes it's just we'll actually make it a little more translucent. We should have been doing this actually for all of our weathering effects, but I didn't have the foresight. Live and learn, huh? So I would like the bottom to be a little bit darker. As if it's more well preserved or something. Bottom of the tree, that is. There's also a few. So let's just take a look at this is what we had, and this is what we have now. I think there's like a difference to be split here. Now the other thing we want to try, we're going to take this, what is this? Why do we have two tree layers? don't know. But we'll just we're at the stage now where we're just like forcing things. So we're going to take this and just turn it off, and we're using a merged layer here to screw around. So number one, I don't like that this goes into his mouth. We're going to remove it. I don't know what's happening here. Is this related to a mask? Yes. Oh, I see, because it was, I see. Let's just take this and get it away from that side there. That pretty much works. I don't think we need to fix anything with that. And we're at the stage now where we know where AIAS is going to be standing, so the tree behind him does not need to really work as a standalone object. We can just manipulate it however we want. So like it wouldn't, the branches wouldn't connect if you were looking at just the tree, but that doesn't matter because we know that AIAS is going to be there. See, it's interesting if this would go into the border. But what I want to do more actually is just, okay, so let's cancel this. I don't like the shape of it, but I think that the idea is better, that it doesn't intersect with his hand, so let's fix it. Maybe if we did like this. Now I think we're going to be in trouble with this texture is going to be tough for us. Most of the texture is actually just baked in, I guess. Or it's in the layer above, rather. Yeah, it works fine. Okay. I think we made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time for this one. So let's go in here. I think maybe if we lowered that a little bit, I leave it. I want to change the, what do we got here? Okay, that's this. And that's this. Let's duplicate it. Okay, so we need to reapply these. Let's just save it too. Yeah, this is a lot more kind of like tempered than the other one. The other one was like fiery, but not in a good way. It just looked unregulated, like it wasn't it wasn't cohesive, I guess is the way to describe it. Okay, now let's go in. We're gonna add the bones to this eraser, and I just want to change the line weights. On a few of these lines, because they're kind of like a little too thick. I don't think we actually revised our line work when we did this one. I can't remember, but if we did, we had a little bit of a heavy hand. also have a problem with the texturing on the lines. I think this is, yeah, let's take a look at, let's get rid of these two colors. Instead of what we have, can I do this where I just do that? And then for this, I want to change this color a little bit to be whoa, why did that happen? Because wow, okay, I don't know how I would do this. Okay, here's what we could do. Take this, make it not an adjustment layer or whatever that's called, put an adjustment layer on it. Why does this keep happening? And the adjustment layer is this, then you merge it. Now we have this color, which can then become an adjustment layer again. I think that worked. Yeah. And we'll just want to do the same thing for the sheep. So we're going to keep these two colors in our palette. Oh wait, let's go back to AIAS and turn his stuff back on. So the sheep, we just do that. And for this, we do this. We take this off, put this on, change this, merge it, and then put it back on. And I think we just need to do a little bit of work because the background is too prominent now, color. Good. Great. Okay, so our line work is getting fixed here. This is working. Just one by one, we're going in and changing the weight of the lines. This is one of those things that it's like, I always kind of had a feeling of, and like kind of in the back of my mind wanted to change, but it took somebody pointing it out for me to actually be like, oh yeah, okay, that is a problem. These like really thick lines on AIAS, which don't kind of match the rest of the picture. Because if you look at like these lines, they're so thin, and there's really no other instances of like these ultra thick lines throughout our other pictures. Now this might negatively change the size of his fingers or the shapes in general, so we have to look at this from a far away perspective and see if it ruins things. Nope, it still works. So this part of the sword is good. The blade is a little thick. We'll just change a little bit of this. It looks like we missed a line here. Why is this happening? Oh. Oh no, we don't want it to match that grain. Unfortunately, some of these elements get a little blurry when you do things to them. And I guess that's just, I don't know if that would happen on the PC or not. I think it's an iPad thing partially, but I'm pretty sure it also happens on PC. But we're working at, right now we're at 300%, so more than 300%. So it's like you're not really seeing stuff at this size anyway. I don't think it'll be noticeable in the final. It definitely won't be noticeable in the illustrated edition because you're looking at the picture on the size of a page. That looks a lot better. Both of his shin areas here are like weirdly bright. So I can't really open the old version on stream because it takes too long for the iPad to open it. But I'm going to check it on my on my computer. Let's just see what it looked like before. Yeah, I don't think the problem with the tree is solved 100%, but I think that it is majorly helped, and there is a degree of kind of like I hesitate to say sloppiness, but I guess sloppiness that one expects when seeing ancient art. You know, like you can't necessarily plan for everything as a ancient Greek artist. And maybe certain things would be kind of like oversights. And they wouldn't notice them until they're too late. Like there's a lot of times in ancient Greek art too where you'll see just clearly like a pattern is not planned for all the way through, and then they'll kind of like, you can almost see them like fumbling to get the rest of the pattern in a little spot and like stuff like that. If we're gonna weather the tree, I think we should weather the eye thing. So let's just do a real quick thing here. This part I think we'll leave it normal. I don't mind it. I mean, we're clearly like cheating in some ambient occlusion because the Greeks would not do this. At least not intentionally. But the pictures will get weathered because that's what happens to ancient pictures. And, you know, sometimes it's fortuitous. And that's what we're betting on here. Okay, so AIAS's line art looks better. Now we want to just fix the goat. And then there's one last thing we want to do to the picture before we wrap it. Somebody's listening to Piano Man in the car driving by. I hope it's a long traffic light, because I like that song. Okay. There's not that many areas of the goat that really need to be thinned out. It was mostly AIAS. I also want to just kind of cut down on some of these more unintentionally prominent areas here for the goat. Good. Two quick things I want to add. Number one, first let's save it, I guess. Also, I'm not taking advantage of that thing I just found out about, that you can actually force save it without closing the file. And that's going to be actually pretty convenient, so let's see if we can do that next time. We're going to do this and very small bit of this. And we essentially want to dirty the frame around, oops. Oh, it's having a hard time. Dirty the frame around all of where the black figures exist.